I'm pretty sure bad weather builds character.
4 seasons gives you 4 personalities, so you can make a life out of
it. Exactly. Did you just make that up?
I did.
Wow.
Yep.
From Maine's cold coast to Connecticut pride, Vermont's green hills take it all in stride. Massachusetts traffic we grip and we grind with a Dunkin' iced coffee and no peace of mind. So New England stands up proud. Chowder thick, we shout it loud. From Fenway chants to Rhode Island tide, New Hampshire's cry, live free or die. So New England with Ian Brownhill.
Good friggin' morning from New England, folks. Welcome back to episode 70. It's a big one.
That's a lot.
Of the So New England
Getting
podcast.
old.
I am your host, Ian Brownhill, joined by my co-host, Robert Travisano, a.k.a. RJ. All things life's better in New England. So New England podcast producer, Vinny G. Behind the lens, insert whatever cute little pop-up he wants to put up here with his little blurb that's usually saying something offensive to me right here. Don't think I'm not seeing these, Vin.
Oh boy.
RJ, tell us who we've got today.
Here we go. Sometimes when it comes to our beloved New England, it's only as good as the people that join us and stay because they realize how amazing it is. And that's just what today's guest did, because he has spent the last decade accumulating that love and turning into one of us, a true New Englander. But that doesn't limit his content, because if you are one of the 250,000 that follows him, you'd know his sketches don't just hold on to those stereotypes here in New England, which is also what sets him apart, because these stereotypes aren't the normal ones you'd think. So without any spoilers, further ado, all the ways to enter someone into a podcast, it is my pleasure to welcome the PE guy, Mr. Johnny Hilbrant.
That right there
That was
is how you should
amazing.
start all of your SoulCycle classes moving forward.
Yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to need that clip, and I'm just going to play it for all my classes. Yeah.
Let's go.
Amazing.
Sweet.
So the Windy City blew you into the Boston region 10
did.
years ago, Johnny. Welcome in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you making the trek down to Little Rhodey. Have you spent
So
time here
easy.
yet?
Ish. My stepbrother went to PC. So,
Oh, okay.
So, but I mean, anytime I visited him, this was like 8 years ago. When I'd visit him, I didn't, I wasn't fully all here. We were just,
Yeah.
they were just, I was going to like
some
frat
seeds.
houses at, or those row houses that they had. And so I never remembered anything that I did here.
Awesome.
Beautiful town.
You're not the first person to say that Rhode Island wasn't very memorable.
Yeah.
So. No, but this is actually a really interesting thing, because obviously we're the So New England podcast. So a majority of our guests have those New England roots from the core. But this is interesting because I am happy to open this up, because I'd like to hear a little bit about Chicago, growing up there, and then the transition coming here and hearing the difference about the cities. And then, of course, I'd love to hear about how you became the PE guy.
Yes.
So give us it all.
So, from Chicago, but if I can't say that to somebody who's actually from Chicago, I'm from the suburbs of Chicago.
Gotcha.
So the north suburbs.
They treat it
and
the same way here in Boston. It's like the suburbs. You're not really
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Boston, so it's
yeah.
like a city thing.
you don't
Okay.
want to upset anybody by
Yeah.
saying you're from Chicago and they're like, oh, you're from Winnetka. Like, that's not really, I'm from like Ferris Bueller's Day Off town, like
Gotcha.
actually they filmed that, the John Hughes movies. Town.
Yes, yeah.
So I grew up in Chicago. I mean, great little town, not a huge sports guy, but family had season tickets to the Bears. So we go to Soldier Field and stuff like that. Wrigley, obviously, fun. I'm trying to think of other notable things about my childhood. I was a swimmer. So I always say this, I never did land sports. So I was a swimmer, water polo player. So, and people are like, you must have played basketball, because I'm like 6'4", and I'm like,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
absolutely not.
That's like the biggest shock that always happens when I have these podcasts, is like the guests come in. I'm always like, I never know how tall they're gonna be, and I always know they're gonna be shocked about how short I am. So this is
I
like,
didn't think about that actually.
yeah. every time I meet someone, I'm always like, wow, you are so much bigger. We just had a gentleman, Zona Eats, and he came in, and I was like, I knew he was gonna be big, but he was a brick shit house, man. He was like 6'2", wide. But like you definitely have like that long leg swimmer build.
Yes,
I can see that.
Once I say
think.
swimmer, people go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They clock, but it's just like, it's kind of mostly like old women. Like, you must have played basketball. Like, no, definitely
Like, do you
not.
play for the Celtics?
Yeah. Very poorly I played basketball. So, but then I went to school in Denver, University of Denver, for 4 years.
Oh, nice.
Graduated with an undergraduate general business degree. Moved to LA for 2 years to work for the Ellen Show, which
Wow.
was a fun shit show.
Curveball. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a doozy. And then moved back to Chicago, found SoulCycle as a rider, and I was like, wow, like this is like, you know, this is my calling.
Yeah.
Somehow I was like, I want to be a SoulCycle instructor, and I auditioned and got in and moved to New York for training, and then they were like, you're gonna move to Boston, and I was like, okay. I don't know really anything about Boston other than, you know, it's a cool city. It's a lot of people live there. I was like, okay. So I had some friends who lived here, and I was like, all right, moved to Boston. I was going to be here for a year, and then ended up, it's been about 10. So,
Wow.
and I think I'll stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good. Yeah.
I love it. That's actually incredibly fascinating that you went to all these different, so Denver, Chicago, Denver, LA, and then Boston, or New York, then
Chicago, you know, growing up in Chicago, Denver for school, LA for 2 years for Ellen, Chicago for like a few months to readjust after getting the shit kicked out of me at Ellen, and then New York for 6 months for training, and then they were figuring out where to put me, and then Boston.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Can we you want to talk about the Ellen stuff a little
Sure.
bit? I mean, what made it so difficult? We had a girl on here,
Camilla.
Gianna.
Oh no, sorry, Gianna.
Yeah,
Excuse
Gianna.
me. You're right. Thank
she
you.
works at, what is it, Kiss 108 or something like that. But she won the contest to be on Ellen, to do like, I don't know. We had like this whole,
Oh no.
Like,
did she go?
she did. Yeah. She went
not
twice.
good.
She went to
won,
LA
like, a free
2 or
TV
3
or something.
Yeah. She won a
Nuts.
free TV. I forget what it was, but
Was it a bummer for her? Oh, she wasn't a guest on the show.
She
got tickets.
it was like she won tickets,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was for like a giveaway. It was like a
12
whole thing.
days.
Yeah.
It's probably
something
12
like that.
days. They do 12 days of for the holidays, and they give out, like, every audience member gets like $3,500 worth of free stuff throughout the show. So Ellen will just be like, and they all come knowing that, so they have rented SUVs, and they're ready to like load up with, and it is cool. The first year I was there,
It's such a cult. Oh my
yeah,
God.
no, it was cool. The first year that I was there, I was a production assistant, so our job was to load their cars up with all this stuff at the end of the day. And I was like, this is fun. Like, you know, and then it got gross. Like, I was like, this is gross. These people are like sitting there like, you know, like, I can't wait for my new crock pot and my like TV and my cruise. It was just, and like, they just sit there and they're like, wow. Like they looked like, it was like something out of The Walking Dead. Yeah. It was so, it was fine. Like, those giveaway shows are always like the audience roaring. The whole staff is sitting there just like, okay, like, I can't wait to load your car up with all this shit. But I was there for 2 years. It was fine. I thought I wanted to be in comedy, and I was like, this isn't really like funny, you know?
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Is that what brought you to LA? Is you wanted to go and try out the comedy scene, like stand-up comedy?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to like do something like comedy writing, probably. I was like,
Gotcha,
because
okay.
I tried stand-up. Stand-up is terrifying and not it's very gratifying unless you're really, really good at it, I think. Which I just am not. I think it's like a muscle you could technically I could have an 8-pack, but like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not gonna be
Same, us
me.
too.
You know, like,
Don't put me into that.
Yeah.
I'm trying. You saw my parfait in the fridge.
yeah. So you saw my parfait in the fridge.
You like that?
That's gonna do it.
That's
yeah.
a line right there
That's
for
it.
you.
Yeah, the parfait in the fridge is gonna do it. But yeah, I wanted to be in comedy somehow, and I linked up with somebody who was in charge of hiring at Ellen, and she was like, I hire interns, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna contact her and see if I can get a job. I got the job, moved out there, and I was like, all right, LA's different. It's exciting. It's warm. Like it was exciting for the first year, and then I was kind of like, I don't know. This feels kind of like soulless to me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that environment wasn't like a collaborative, in my opinion. It wasn't like a collaborative, like, oh, hey, like let's foster your growth here as an employee or what. It was kind of just like, which I get, like, they're like, you're a production assistant, like you should be happy to be here and like be quiet.
Right.
And don't talk to her or look at her, you know?
Yeah. Which is pretty much how every like movie set and film industry is kind of, that's actually, and oh, that's right. She's kind of has like drama about being a bad person on set. I actually forgot about that.
I was naively going into it being like, oh, I'm going to like hang out with Ellen.
Yeah.
Which is dumb. Like, that's like being like, I'm going to go work for JP Morgan. I'm going to see Jamie Dimon. He's going to take me out to breakfast. Like, it was just like, it was this naive, like, oh, she's going to be so fun. And people were like, oh, like, don't like look at her, you know, like,
Don't look her in the eyes.
yeah, just don't. And I imagine probably like if you're at dinner with her, she's lovely, but in that environment, I think she was too stressed out to be like hey, what's up? What's your name? She was just like, I'm at work. I'm not trying to be like, how long have you worked here?
Yeah.
You know, in my dreams, it was like, she'd be like, I saw your tweet from last week. That was funny. Like, why don't you come into my office and write the next monologue, you know?
Well, hey, you never know. Things could happen, but
That's true.
apparently in that environment, not.
No, it was very like, okay, you are here, we are here, like you stay there. So I knew my place, but I was like, all right, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like down. And I kind of was like, all right, I got comfortable just being like, all right, if you want to make people laugh, like just make people in your life laugh. Like, be cool with that. Like, you don't have to be the next whatever that, you know, whatever I wanted to be. You don't have to write on the next show. If that doesn't feel right, just go be the funny guy at SoulCycle. Right. You know? Yeah. So yeah, that was an interesting experience. And then after 2 years, I was like, I gotta get the hell out of here. I didn't want to be in LA. It was too far from Chicago. And that I just was like, people were like, well, you could go work at James Corden. And then there were mixed reviews about working there. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this should not be that should not be that difficult to work at a talk show and not get like the shit kicked out of you. So, and people were pretty much like, it's just kind of the industry. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be a part of this industry.
Yeah.
You take yourselves too seriously if, you know, like we're literally giving out free crock pots in the middle of the day to people who are sitting in front of their TVs in the middle of the day. You know? No offense to them.
Right.
Cause I do that, but, I was just like, we're done here. So
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
So that must have been a huge shift then to go to from a place like LA that had that soulless experience to a place like Boston that is like all soul.
Yes.
We actually don't offer a ton except for our souls. It's like every bar is the same, every person's the same.
Yes.
But man, do we got some fucking soul.
No, it's good. And I love it. People are like, oh, like mass souls and, you know, like the East Coast people are really, and I'm like, you know what? I would prefer you to be real with me and be like, get the fuck out of here versus being like fake and LA to me. You know,
100%.
I'd rather that. And I also have a theory that bad weather builds character. Yep. So
100%.
No offense to people who, you know, but I'm pretty sure bad weather builds character.
4 seasons gives you 4 personalities so you can make a life out of it.
Exactly. Did you just make that up?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be a writer.
Perfect. Yeah. I was like,
No, but I actually had this conversation because over Thanksgiving, because as I'm sitting with my family and friends, I talk about the interactions I have when I meet someone.
Yeah.
And it's a very unique experience because people see you every day online and they see every moment of your life because you're either on like Instagram stories or you're making TikToks, what have you. So when they meet you, they really feel like they know you. And it's a very different disconnect between that and like actual celebrity.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when you see these other celebrities, they're like, they shoo you away. They don't want to sign anything. They need security guards to leave their hotel for the 4 people that are like, hey, I love your movies. And it's you can't just say hi.
Yeah.
Whereas like I run into people at like the grocery store and they're like, I didn't know that you shopped here. And I'm like, where else would I shop? Besides Stop and Shop or Market Basket, like we're in New England.
Yeah.
And it's always a unique experience. But the very New England part of the interaction is people are brutally honest with me. Yeah. So I had a doctor's appointment and I'm in the waiting room. The woman goes, are you the guy that I see on Facebook? And I was like, hey, if you watch videos about New England, that's me. Yeah. And she goes, oh yeah. She goes, well, you don't have the accent. And I was like, no, it's fabricated. And oh my God. I was like, I overdo it for things. She goes, I thought you overdid it because it doesn't sound like Boston or New England. She goes, I'm from Dorchester and like, we don't talk. She's like, I'm from Dorchester and we don't talk like that. So I don't know where you got your accent from, but it's like that brutal interaction where she didn't mean to be mean. And in my mind, I'm like, wow, that's not something nice to say, but it's like, I would rather you do that than you say like, oh my God, you make videos, they're so funny. And then I know that realistically you don't like me.
Yeah. Blow smoke up my ass.
Exactly.
About the videos,
and that's kind of like the love-hate relationship you have. You learn to get that thick skin. So
no, I love that. The brutal honesty, I'm like, I would prefer it, but I'm also like a sensitive. I'm a like I can't read comments.
No, I cried in my car.
I'll read a comment that's like every 2 weeks I clock it. Every 2 weeks someone says you're not funny, and I'm like, and then I think about it all day long. Like I'm very, you know, but I guess I'd prefer somebody in person being like, yeah, like, I mean, people are brutally honest with me and I would prefer that, I think, now that you say it, as long as they don't say you're not funny. Like,
Yeah.
just keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
Talk shit about me
Keep
to your
that
friends like the rest of us. Like just, yeah. He's not funny. It's overdone. It's overhyped. Like, I'm like, okay, thank you. I got it.
Right.
And you can't say anything about me that I don't already know or haven't already thought about.
Of course.
Me. So
if you're
thank
someone
you.
who wants to be in the comedy space, my imagination is running wild with the thought that you're probably someone who beats himself up quite a bit in order to get their content done.
Yep.
Where they're like, oh, I didn't say this right. That wasn't funny. I could deliver this better. So people don't understand how brutally we can be to ourselves in our own mind when it comes to writing content. So I hear you, but those people don't ever say that shit to your face. Yeah. And if they do, honestly, that would be such a shock factor that I'd be like,
whoa,
thanks.
Yeah.
Can we leave each other's space now? Because I really feel uncomfortable. You're not nice.
It's a little much. Yeah. Hello.
It's like, by the way, this is just a video, so maybe we calm down.
Yeah.
But I always
seconds.
mention to them, it's like, if you are viral, then you're going to be getting hate. So once those hate comments come in about how everyone hates my accent and it's not funny and I'm from Rhode Island and not Boston, and I'm like, yeah, baby, get those views up. Let's go.
It's all engagement. Yeah.
That's one of the funny parts with the pod is, going through the comments sometimes because, you hit so many different people from so many different places. You say one pizza spot is good, you have 95 comments. Oh, that place sucks. You should try this. And it's like, I obviously being a podcast, I try very hard to not respond back with like shittiness.
Yeah. I stopped him when we first started.
Yeah.
I just like wanted someone was like, oh, this sucks. He's like, fuck you, this sucks. Like, hey, whoa, time out. Can't reply. He didn't actually do that, but I'm just saying, like,
I was gonna say,
and then he was like defending the pod. I was like, you don't have to let these people do their thing.
Yeah.
But now it's more funny because like someone said something the other day. They were like, oh, I've been in, because we had one clip from the Bean Wizard talk about New England Chinese food. And how Chinese food in New England is better than anywhere else. And like, there's hundreds, if not thousands of people that like that and commented and were like, yep, exactly, 100%. Like, I live out here, blah, 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 all that. Everyone's like, yes. And then someone commented the other day and they're like, I've yet to find good Chinese food. So I commented back. I was like, maybe it's not the food and it's your palate.
Yeah.
But
definitely
it's like, trying to be funny, like, with, the emojis and all that. But it's so true. Like, I'm not a full-time content creator. I make little stuff here and there, but I don't get as many comments as you guys do. But I can only imagine, like you said, that one comment every 2 weeks where it's like, you're putting all your effort into these videos, and like same thing for you, like all this effort into the video, and like, this is kind of stupid. Or
you can't help it.
Or when you
5,000 positive ones and you negative.
You try and branch out and do something different, and you're like, hey, aren't you supposed to do the PE guy? Where's that guy? It's like, you motherfucker.
No, literally, I'll even post my story just like and people will be like, stick to the character. It's my regular face being like, I was at the grocery store and this funny thing happened. I'm like, I was here before the character. He got here in March. Okay. Like, this is notice how it doesn't say PE guy, it says Johnny Hilbrant. Like, this is my fucking page. Okay. Like, back off, but I have the same gut reaction. I have to like, I should do like a Mel Robbins, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let them, like, I need to do something to just like
film it. You got to film it.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I know. I love Mel Robbins. I actually worked with her daughter at SoulCycle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her daughter Sawyer. She's lovely, and she actually does she's been touring with her, and she wrote that book with her.
Oh, that's so great.
So it's cool to see. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah. She vacations. We're from Westerly, Rhode Island originally, south from here, and Mel vacations there in the summer. At least she did when I first started. When she first got on the scene and I started seeing when that 543 like kind of put her on the map, and I was listening to her podcast, TED Talks, all that. I started following her, and one day I was like, this looks like she's down in Westerly. Is this Musqueama kid? So fun little fact.
I love names.
Not that
like
she
that,
probably wants me to out her like that, but
I saw her she was on Bert Kreischer's podcast. And I listened to her. I never listened to her before, and I was like, oh wait, she's actually like really.
Yeah, she's
hilarious.
the most like down to earth, like motivational
cool.
speaker that there probably is. She's like she's very good. Very informative, but also not like overly hardcore where they're like, you have emotions, fuck those things. It's like, time out. I can't just like, I can't fuck them entirely.
She was mad.
I
was like,
I need to think about those things, those emotions as they come up. Yeah, she's cool. I think about her every morning. Yeah. My alarm goes off and she does the 5, 4. She's like, you just count to 5 and you get up. Yep. And I'm like, okay. I don't always do it.
Should tell her
think
my
about
wife.
it at least,
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, right.
You got a sleepy wife over there, sleepy girl.
What would you say was the hardest thing to learn growing up?
Probably learning how to like use, save, or spend money.
You legit worked in banking, did you not?
You're welcome.
Are you still with Dime Bank, or are you too Hollywood now?
Okay, rude, but yes, I am.
Imagine your followers finding out you're with a Connecticut-based bank.
Okay, first of all, they have a branch in Westerly, Rhode Island, which is where we grew up. So really, that's brownie points because I'm sticking to my roots. Second, I think everyone would appreciate that I'm with a bank that knows and understands their community. Their tagline is legit. Community banking lives here.
Hey, I'm not asking you to sell me on it. I've been banking with them for years, and they know me on a first-name basis. I'm just saying I'm surprised is all. I can see the headlines now. Mr. Anti-Connecticut actually banks with local community bank?
Okay, you know what? Follow along with me here. They're FDIC insured, equal housing lenders, wicked friendly. They take care of all my personal needs, have expansive products to help all my businesses, offer lending across the board, merchant services. What more could I possibly want or need? And you know that I secretly like Connecticut, so.
Oh, I hope you heard that, folks. Dime Bank is the reason Ian loves Connecticut.
Okay, you're ridiculous. Funny story though. You know how they have like the mobile app with like banking, Lifesaver, you can do all the deposits. Have you tried to teach your mom how to do the mobile deposit
No.
yet? I was teaching my mom how to do it, and she takes a selfie instead of the check. Visit dimebank.com to learn more. All right, so let's get into the PE guy then. So tell me about the content and how that started to come to fruition.
Yeah. PE guy, well, he's always been in my head. And he wasn't PE guy. He just was guy who gets stuck talking to at a wedding.
Yeah.
And I kind of posted about him here and there, like on my stories. I hadn't done reels until March this year. And I had this filter. He was kind of like, the filter is a Snapchat filter, and it does crazy things to my eyes and my face, my mouth. And I was like, it kind of looks like a know-it-all. So I was like in Florida in December last year, so like a year ago. And I was like, I saw an iguana swimming in the ocean, which was insane. Like standing up, because they don't swim like this,
Right.
but they like wade in the water and bob like this.
It's wild.
A fucking iguana.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if I can curse.
No, yeah.
But
Oh yeah, go
yeah,
for it.
okay. A full iguana, like bobbing, and I posted it, and then I just like had this. I was like, okay, like I know somebody in my comments. When I had 7,000 followers, I had some people in my comments who I didn't know and were annoying, and I knew someone would be like, that's actually like the North American, like a Miami iguana, and they do that to cool off because their skin is temperature. They were gonna be a know-it-all. So I beat people to the punch by being like, I'm going to post what you're going to comment. And I did it with that filter. And then people were like, that's a funny filter. And so I kept doing it as like a know-it-all. And then I was at like consistently like a wedding every other weekend. And I kept getting cornered by somebody I didn't want to talk to. And I was like, that's kind of like that know-it-all character that I have it. And so it evolved from that into the guy you get stuck talking to, who for me, he'd be like, what do you do for work? And I'd be like, oh, I'm a SoulCycle and, instructor. And he'd be like, oh, do they they must be are they owned by private equity? Like, that's, how's the business doing? And I'd just be like, I teach the 45-minute class and then I leave. Like, I don't know how the business is doing, and I kept getting cornered by that guy. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just like, it was kind of not as conscious as I'm making it sound. Like it wasn't thought through, but I was like, that filter is the guy I get stuck talking to at every wedding, even if his face doesn't look, just the way he's talking to me. And so I started posting it like, how are the benefits at the company? And I started posting to my story, and somebody who's a rider of mine at SoulCycle was like, you need to post these on reels. Like I was trying to show my mom, but it expired because it was on your story. Like these are good. And I was like, okay, like, because I was just like, no, I'm not like a reels person. Because I was like, I'm a TikTok person, not because my content was doing well there, but just because like I felt like it was a better
algorithm, more enjoyable experience.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, I'm more of a TikTok guy, and she was like, no, you have to just. She's like, what do you have to lose? Like, So I had 7,000 followers, and I posted March like 25th maybe of this year. I posted a video, and it was like maybe 20 seconds, and he was just like, it's like the guy who gets stuck talking to at a wedding, and he's like, oh, like. Talking about his bonus at his company and like how, and then he's like, oh, so you work, you're a spin instructor. Is that like all you do? Like that was kind of the vibe. And it just, that the next day it had like 70,000 views or something. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. Like I was like, I don't have 70,000 people following me. So this is, and then the next day it had like 100. And then and people were like, whoa, that went viral. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try it again 2 days later. Cause I was convinced it was just going to be like one and done. And I did it again 2 days later, and it was like, it stuck. And at this point, it wasn't PE guy yet. It was still guy you get stuck talking to at a wedding. And then like, I just kept feeding the algorithm every few days. And then I eventually was like, he made him in private equity, because everyone I meet at a wedding is now in private equity,
Right.
and they're
It's
all
the only
like,
way you can afford to live in Boston.
yeah, exactly. And they're all like, oh, not all of them, but everyone, the people I get stuck talking to at a wedding are very like they have no self-awareness really.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm backed into a corner is like that's body language, but like we're not tracking that.
Please
'Cause
give me space.
They're just, they're spitting in my face, and they're like, I can smell their like, whatever they're drinking.
You're
'cause
gonna say
they're this
probably
close.
hammered.
Yeah, hammered, just the spitting in my face. Like, yeah. And like I'm on garden leave because I was at Bain Capital, and now I'm just like, even if I knew what you were talking about, I would want you to get away from me. And everything, all of my body language is showing you that, but you're not clocking it. So I was just like, this is hilarious that this happens to me. And all my friends start to like fall off. Like it's like a circle of people talking. And then it's like the opposite of survival of the fittest. It's like the weakest link gets stuck. The weakest link gets stuck talking to the person with no self-awareness, and everyone else kind of falls, like just like sloughs off and like dead skin. And I'm just standing there like, and this just is a consistent thing that happens to me. And then people come up and be like, I was talking to him, and I was like, you were across the bar and I was giving you signals. I was like texting you, please come get me.
SOS.
So I have like a deep relationship with the person you get stuck talking to at a wedding, at every wedding, no matter what. And now it's a little different because people are like, I'm afraid to talk to you because like you make videos about people like me. And I was like, good.
Yeah,
good.
bye.
Yeah,
Stay away.
don't talk to me. Like,
That's the point.
That's awesome.
Nailed it.
Yeah. And
Perfect execution across the board.
Yeah. So yeah, he evolved into PE guy. I gave him that job, and it was kind of a good thing, a good group of people to make fun of, I guess. And it stuck, and I haven't had to do much apologizing, but some people in the beginning thought it was about them. I think some close people in my life, and I was like, this is not about you.
Yeah.
You may have said some things like this before, but this is not you.
Yeah.
So he's
That's
obviously
also like flattery. Like it's not like a bad
Right.
thing. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
he's
and
an
also it's like, hey,
exaggeration.
this is a nudge to let you know,
Yeah.
maybe don't be so annoying.
Yeah, go to Turks and Caicos, but shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
Or go to Turks and Caicos and like
No one cares about your Q3 bonus and
Yeah.
how you're in the Maldives now. Like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
fine.
no, it's
just
all
take your
good.
bonus and
Yeah.
go on your vacation and shush about
quietly enjoy it. Yeah. Have all of the things. That's the other thing about this whole thing. It's kind of evolved into this massive thing. And I think there's different groups of people, and there's like a subset of followers and people who engage with the content who are like, they're like anti-capitalism, like tax the rich, like, and I'm just
my
like,
God.
I'm not like holding a sign up. We're not doing that. Like, this is just like the comedy is the extreme example. Like the best comedy is the most extreme example of anything. And I can make fun of like the soloist at a funeral singing. Like I can
Right.
find I can find humor in most things.
It becomes the voice, or America's Got Talent audition. It's like, this is a funeral, like beautiful
Yes,
voice, but
yes.
also like the song should have ended 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't need the bridge to keep going.
Yeah,
please.
yeah. And your voice actually not good
My
enough. for
nana's
you to-
dead. Can we just close the casket?
Yeah.
For Christ's sake.
Shut it down. Yeah. I think people are like, yeah, like tax the, forget the what. And I'm like, no, that's not the point. Like have a fleet of Rivians and Range Rovers and have a house in the Hamptons and in Misquamicut.
Yep.
Go to all of these beautiful places, enjoy your life. But like the way that people talk about anybody, not just private equity people, is like, it's so obnoxious. And I've just been clocking it for years, mostly at weddings, because I have to be nice to those people because we have spent the whole weekend together. And,
Right.
I don't want to walk away from them or be rude, but I think it's also like, it's deeper than just like the comedy, the like on its face, like, oh, it's like, haha. It's also like people do talk like that about,
100%.
and it's a good thing that maybe some of them are looking inward, maybe look inward, have a private plane. You don't maybe need to tell me that you have one. This character though he would go up to a homeless person and tell him that he just bought his like third house, and be like, isn't that great? Like that's, so I think it can be, you can look at it very surface or you can go deep with it. So I think that's why it's resonating with a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the unique thing about art that I've had so many conversations about, is that art is always going to last, right? And comedy is art. And I think comedy is essential because it allows us to bridge the gap between the people who want to be in the comment section saying fuck capitalism.
Yeah.
And then the people that are like, oh shit, is this me? Should I maybe taper back on my Instagram stories about the private jet?
Yep.
And it's like, comedy is somewhere in the middle. And that's like what it's intended to be. It's like, it's not necessarily saying these things are horrible. It's just saying like, don't forget there's people who don't have this. Maybe you shouldn't be shoving it in their face. Just enjoy the fruits of your labor. Maybe don't brag about the fruits that you have.
It's the same thing with people having children as well. Like pregnancy, like when people are like,
let's get into it.
Let's dive right into pregnancy.
I have a very heavy female demographic, so I'm going to keep my opinion for myself.
Well,
I don't have that demographic, so I'll buckle in.
I don't even look at my insights, so I have no idea who's I'm talking to, but
very smart.
I know that there's a lot of like people will be like, oh yeah, like I just look at her and she gets pregnant. Like it's no problem. And then I'm like, that same thing, like you could talk to somebody who is like infertile and just found out that they're infertile, or they've been trying for 10 years and you're just like, I'm pregnant again. Like, it's just like, have a little tact, like just like know and I'm overly self-aware and like thinking about how what I'm saying is going to make somebody feel. And so when I meet somebody who's the opposite, I'm like, who raised you? Yeah. You know, who raised you? I don't care that you work at Bain Capital. Like you have no social skills at all.
Exactly.
So
that's probably the biggest. Again, that's kind of like a New England thing. I feel like we've got quite a few people who just don't understand social cues in this region. I will definitely say that. And then they disguise it by saying, oh, I'm just being honest. That's just, I'm like, no, you're an asshole. Like, let's just be very clear.
Yeah.
You saying what you like are feeling is you being an asshole right now. It has nothing to do with you being honest.
Yeah.
There's a way to say what you're saying in a friendly manner that can be received by all. And you're failing at that miserably.
Yeah. Yeah, it's shocking when you meet somebody like that and you're just like, whoa, you're not even kidding.
I think my favorite thing about social media and pertaining to moms, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, so don't get upset, is every video that starts, it's like, no one tells you how hard it is. It's like, okay, time out. Everyone tells you. It's literally all over the internet talking about how hard it is to be a mom. Also, your mom probably told you if you were fortunate to have her in your life.
Yep.
Your aunts, your sisters, anyone that's been pregnant has been telling you how hard it is.
Yeah.
Secondly, this is a choice. You don't have to have a child.
Yeah.
If you chose to do this, in most cases, God willing, if that's a choice that you've made, don't put it on us in the comment section in the video.
Yeah.
I didn't make you do this. Don't subject me to this video that makes me feel like it's all my fault.
Yeah.
No one tells you how hard it is. I was like,
I'm sure somebody.
There are millions of movies out there alone talking about it. Now, never mind the last 10 TikToks I talked about how hard it is to be a mom.
Well, and I also think like now we're in like a time where it's like, it's kind of regurgitated, and not just with, having kids and stuff, but it's like these are the top 10 things people don't tell you. And I'm like, everyone's making those videos and they have for years. So like you've seen the same video that you're making. Like, no one tells you how hard it is to, like when you get a puppy, I'm just like I'm steering away from the pregnancy things. I'm afraid of them. Like my little sister's pregnant right now. Everyone's going to know that.
We can cut that out if you don't want to.
No, I'm just kidding. She's enough pregnant, and I think enough people know, but, like just, there's so much of that. Like I think it's a little overkill with the like lists of like, this is I even get stuff that's like, I learn a lot about birth that I did not that I did not know happened or needed to know happen. And the no one tells you thing. I'm like, I've seen 9 influencers that I follow say the same thing. You know, they will all tell you. But God bless them. God bless them. Yeah.
We're coming from this as a comedic standpoint.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Try not to be too upset with us here.
Yeah, please.
Awesome. Well, I think one thing that it's incredibly unique about your content, from just like following you, seeing it, is the stories that you tell are they're spread out. So like the subjects, as much as you're joking about like the wedding and the people, but like, you talk about Arizona, you talk about Nantucket, you talk about New York, Chicago, you talk about all of these different places. So I'd like to kind of understand, if I could, how you go about like scripting out these videos and where the ideas come from and the motivation outside of, obviously we have like the wedding one. But where you are now, because obviously you've changed quite a bit as to just the wedding to all of the things you talk about now.
Yeah. I don't know how it happened. I don't remember which my first city was, but once I did I think I did Chicago PE guy, because I'm from there. And then I did that and I was like, oh, I can do this for every major city. And like, there's however many videos, 20 videos that I can make in the next whatever. And how I go about them in the beginning, it was just Googling like most expensive daycare in Houston, like literally. Or like if I knew somebody from that place, I'd text them and be like, hey, where would this guy like summer if he lived in? Because I don't know or someone in Texas would summer, you know, and then people would send back like huge list of like, especially if they've seen the content, they know it's like a format of like the kids do this, we go to this club, they go to this school, blah, blah, blah. Like people would just like send it to me. So, but in the beginning it was just like Googling most expensive country club, most expensive initiation fee, like realtor.com, like do a radius in the city in Charlotte and like just put the price range to like from 10 million to 50 and then find the area that has the most of those and be like, that's where he lives, you know? So I was like getting really into it in the beginning. And then now it's like, people are like, do Toronto, here's the list, you know? And then I'm like, okay, well, copy paste. And then I was like, how do you know so well? And I'm like, I don't know. Like it's all like crowdsourced now. So as soon as I had done like a good enough job on those first few, like doing my own research, people were like, oh my gosh, please do my city. And that was fun because it was like, and I've pretty much done all the major ones. But I think I need to go back and do like part 2s for them.
Yeah, of course.
So, but I will say people are very like, they love their city. They want to see it done right. So I have made a couple oopsies with my own research, and people are like, if he lived in Darien, he would not golf at Weeburn, you know, like he would golf at, and I'm just like, okay. And then I'll comment as PE guy being like, I helicopter from my backyard to Weeburn, you know, like, you know, like it's no big deal. So yeah, and then I'll script them, and at first I was, we lived in Cambridge, and we were in a townhouse, and there was an open staircase with like, you know, obviously railings, but I would put my phone up in like I would actually prop it on the side of the staircase before I had like a tripod thing, and then I put my laptop behind it. And then I would like be looking at my phone, but kind of through it and around it to see the, you know, bullet points like Weeburn Country Club, wife, you know, here's what I do for work. Wife is busy with the tennis pro, whatever, like the big things. And then I got a little more like, okay, here's like a stand for my laptop that has an iPhone holder too, but it's still a pretty like jank operation.
So
like,
you still have that same setup?
No, now we moved to the suburbs, and I have like an attic, like a finished 3rd floor space that is just kind of like, I was like, you know, Amazon.com, like light for a podcast. And then like it gets sent and it blows out in like 2 videos. And then I'm like, another light for podcast, you know, with a green screen. And then I just edit it in CapCut. And it's
do you do the CapCut? Do you do, so do you still get the filter from Snapchat?
The filters in Snapchat, and then I just download it to my phone and then
so you film
airdrop
entirely
it.
in Snapchat and then download it?
Yes, all in Snapchat, download, save to gallery, and then for my future gallery show, and then airdrop to my computer, and then put it in CapCut, and then remove the background and put a, you know, whatever background in.
Oh, okay. So you do the green screen through CapCut.
Yeah, like that remove background feature, which is great sometimes, and other times not so great. It just depends. Like sometimes it catches, it holds, and then other times it's like half your face is out, and you gotta be a little. But it's pretty easy. But I do like every once in a while making a video that's like not just me in my green screen, like a little like cut together thing.
Yeah,
you know, where it's like I just did one with a couple realtors in Boston. Or in Wellesley, I went to this like $8 million house and like walked through it and just was like, no, like this isn't good. This is terrible. Like,
yeah,
I would have to renovate that, you know, like kind of like that. I like those like interactive things.
Yeah.
So,
and do you feel like you've been catching trend? Because obviously you've done some really awesome collaborations.
Yes.
You've worked with a lot of awesome influencers in this area and just as a whole. I saw you with, was it Russell Dickerson? Is that
yes?
The
that was
singer?
In like the beginning too. Russell Dickerson was like a mega fan of the first video.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's what's so interesting about like
That's
that. Is you
crazy.
connect yourself with someone like that. And Russell sings the Blue Tacoma, right?
Yes.
Is that his like
Yes.
one of his big hits?
And the funny thing is, I was like, it wasn't like I was like inundated with DMs and it was like, I'm popping off. It was amazing. But I was like, I saw you had a check mark and I was like, oh, he's a country singer. Like, okay, cool. And he's engaging with me and he's like, this is so funny. He's like, I've got a show coming up in Boston. You should come to it. And I was like, like, I don't really. And then I was like, oh, that's the Blue Tacoma guy. I know who that is. Like at first I was like, I don't know who that is. And then I was like, oh shit, I really do know who that is. And he was like, come to the show. So we went to the Seaport, that pavilion.
Yeah, right. That's right across from where we were at the Legal Seafood.
Yeah.
Yes, it's right there. Yeah. And it was all, and he was like, you come backstage and like meet my wife and my band. And I was like, oh, this is like making me nervous. Like I did that when I was at Ellen. I went to Justin Bieber's show at whatever in LA, like wherever the big arena is. And we went into like a green room afterwards, and it was like all these famous people, and like Justin Bieber like walks in the room after his show, and I was like, that was my only experience with that. And Russell Dickerson, was like him and his band and his wife, and they were like eating Chinese food, and they were just what's up?
Of course they were.
Of course they were.
Exactly.
Of course they were.
Yeah, I was too nervous
that's
to
what
ask
we
him.
do.
Yeah, we do Chinese food. And he was awesome. He still is a fan. He still comments on stuff. And he was like an OG. He was like one of the first like real checkmark people, you know?
How interesting.
cool.
You know, not a fraudulent checkmark person. You know,
We have a similar experience with Ty Law. Ty Law is like a famous former NFL Patriot NFL football player for the Patriots, who we grew up watching, idolizing, and now he's on the podcast. And now, you know, when we go to the Patriots games, he's got his own little setup. He's on it, and he sees us, and he's like, "Yo," and he introduces us to everybody.
That's so
It's
cool.
like, these are my boys. So it's a pretty wild thing, because my mom legit has like a signed Wheaties box of him like in the basement.
Yeah,
because he was
from
like,
back in the day.
yeah, exactly. And it's
That's
a
so
unique
cool.
thing that social media and can kind of create that.
Especially comedic stuff, I feel like can really I think comedy is a good equalizer. And when somebody who's like someone who you are like, oh my gosh, wow, they message you, or they comment or like follow you, you're like, and you're like, I don't want to screw this up.
Yeah, and you have to act cool, because you're like, yeah, no, I belong here. Like, hey, what's up?
It's no big deal. Like, I'm not freaking out at all. Yeah.
This might be a random ramble, but I just saw a video, and it was actually really funny. It was this kid that was playing a 2-part series, which I think we've all had in our mind, where he played Drake and he played himself. And he like pretended, he like stood there, and it made it funnier because he wasn't doing the multiple characters.
Yeah.
He stood there and he pretended to be Drake, and he was like, "Oh, what's up, man?" And he's just like, "Oh, what's up, Drake?" And then he walked by and he goes, "And this is how I would react." He's like, "Oh, what's up, Drake?" And walk away. He's like, "Oh, you don't want a picture?" And he's like, and the whole premise of the video is that he acted so cool and nonchalant that Drake was like, "Oh, you should come back and hang out with me and my friends. We like to go back to the private jet and gamble." And he was like, "All right, Jay, I mean, if that's what you want, Drake, I'll come hang out with you." And I'm like, how many times in our life have we all kind of played that scenario? Like, man, me and LeBron, me and Kobe, me and Tom Brady, we would all, if I had a chance with them, we would be best friends.
Yeah. Give me a shot.
I just need that chance to get in front of him and hang out, so he knows I'm a chill guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not a weird fan.
And I'd be totally normal. Yeah. Not trembling the whole time. Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing about social media too is, now that you're kind of with the blowing up that you've had occurring, but you're talking about trying to implement those other things, that's the most nuanced thing, is like, once you've kind of niched yourself down, it's so hard to introduce yourself to your audience. So what is it that you would like to start creating? So maybe if any of your audience that's watching, they can expect to see some of this stuff coming up, so that they're not shocked and they don't bail on you.
Yeah.
He's not a one-trick pony, damn it.
Yeah, I can do other things. Okay, come on, think. Yeah, I think I recently just posted a video where the back and forth. Usually, it's my character just talking to somebody,
right,
and at them, and it's like exhausting. And I go the whole 90 seconds or 120 seconds. Like I just ramble through it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do reactions from the other side, and it'll be me. So I filmed all the PE guy talking, and then I spliced myself in, just basically being like, what, like. I don't know, but it was me. And I felt like that was a good way to start to like massage myself back into my Instagram page. Okay.
Right.
Because I started here. This is my page first. So I'm going to try, I think, to implement like myself back in that way. And then it would be, I love that I hold it to such a high standard. Like, I'm like, I can't post a reel of just my face talking about something, but I think I think my goal is to get to a place where I'm like, I'm comfortable just posting maybe I'm reacting to like a TV show I'm watching.
Right.
Just me talking about like how I do on my story, but like having it live on my page, and not making every single reel. So like I post and I'm like, and I like walk the dogs for 20 minutes. And if I come back and it's not at like 23,000 views, I'm like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like I put way too much stress on that. And too much pressure on that. And I'm hoping I can like kind of like just try other things like with just me with the PE guy, maybe 50-50 eventually would be a great split, because if Snapchat takes that filter away, we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
We are in big trouble.
You're going to have to tap into one of those guys in the tech industry and say, I need you to make this.
I have tried that.
And I'll stop making fun of your industry.
Yeah, I have tried that. I have done that. I have a guy in the Ukraine who apparently all the filter guys are in Ukraine.
Oh, interesting. There you go. Fun
the
fact.
actual Snapchat people. But I am on Snapchat on like Snap Stars. Like they're
Gotcha.
trying to make and they have like a scrolly feature, like how YouTube has shorts.
Yep.
Snapchat has like they're trying to kind of crack into that a little bit more with other generations too, not just like Gen Z. So I'm like on there, and we had a conversation with Snapchat, and I was just like, so you can't, I'll do this, but you can't get rid of the filter if I did this, right? Like I'll be a Snap star for you, whatever that means. And I'll post and I'll do all this stuff. It'll be great. I'll promote it, but like if you remove the filter, I can't do it.
Right.
So, and they're like, they would never promise to not do that. So
Right.
hopefully that doesn't happen, but I have a very JV version of the filter available to me if needed, and it won't be good, but
But it's the filter
good.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
You'll make it work.
Yeah, I could also maybe get some
Gonna
plastic
say-
surgery, get punched in the face a couple times.
Oh God.
You know,
Just go to Dorchester and try and make fun of someone's accent.
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
They'll take care of
There you
it.
go. I
No
was gonna
problem.
say,
They'll
The
adjust
Pats
it.
suck. What the fuck you say?
exactly. Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Is there any part of this character that is you in some capacity?
For
Like
sure.
anything that you relate to or some of the subjects you talk about? What are you guilty of in that?
I think I basically I live in Wellesley, so that's like
Again,
already.
anytime I hear the name Wellesley, I don't think of Maggie.
Yeah.
I hear Wellesley, immediately my head just goes, oh,
Yeah, yes.
Ooh.
The Wellesley mom.
Yeah.
I grew up in a town. I am in these circles of people, and I think that's probably why it works so well, because I have a lot of people around me so I can't be like I'm making fun of that. Like I'm like a part of it in a way, because like I drive a Denali, for example, but I'm not like, well, I drive a Denali. You know, like I have nice things in my life. You know, I'm married to an oral surgeon. He does nicely. You know,
Right.
things are good. But like, I go to my mom's beach club in Florida. Like I play golf sometimes. So like I'm a little bit like I'm adjacent to this character, but I'm also like an outsider in a way. I was talking to the Boston Globe, what do you call him, reporter, and she was like, you're kind of an insider, but also an outsider, because you are in this world, but you're like, you don't feel connected to it in the way that a lot of people do.
Right.
Like I do, like I don't feel like I'm like wearing my country club like logo on my polo shirt, and like that. Just I'm like
You're not pompous at all.
I'm not. I just am like, and I hope that I never would be if I like. I'm very like money and things don't equal like it doesn't make me. And I do believe that some people think that because they have these things, they are like here and other people are here. And I don't. I'm just like, oh, I actually have more work to do to convince people that are normal that I'm not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, like that's a huge thing. Like if I say I'm from Winnetka to somebody who lives in Chicago or didn't grow up in a town like I grew up in, they're like, okay, like here we go. And I have work to do to get, to dig out of that a little bit. And same with Wellesley. I say I live in Wellesley now, and I'm not from there. I just moved there in July. Lovely town. But as soon as I say it, I see people like, they're like, okay. You know, I'm like, no, I swear, you know, it's like, so I just think I'm like around it. I'm involved in these, and that's the thing. All the things that I make fun of are like and I think the only reason you would be upset with what I make fun of is that I'm like pulling the curtain back and being like, this isn't real. Like your money is not a real thing that like makes you any, like, so if you're tying your worth to your Nantucket compound and your whatever, you're living like the most empty life ever. So I think that like people they're like, oh my God, like don't expose me. You're exposing that like I've worked my whole life for all these things and that's all I have. And those people are the ones probably who don't like my stuff. Cause they're like, you're exposing me.
Right.
You're exposing that like my worth is tied to the fact that I went to Harvard Business and I worked in consulting for X number of years and now I'm in PE and I have this and you don't have, you know, like, I think that there's something that really gets to people because they're like, no, I am better because and I'm like, no, you're really not. You're worse. And we all think it. And they're like, what? You know? So long answer. Yes, a little part of me exists and I think the other thing is that everybody has a little piece of him, this character. Every once in a while, I'll say something. I'm like, oh, that was a little PE guy-ish, you know? And then having the awareness, I think, is good, though.
Yeah,
it's like
of course.
but I'll talk to friends and they'll be like, yeah, so we just did this and then we were renovating the bathroom. And then they're like, oh my God, I sound like your character. And I'm like, no, please go on about the renovations.
I love it.
Yeah.
But that's such a New England thing, truthfully, where they make like that facial expression about when you say you're from Wellesley. Cause I think New England is just so born and bred on the backbones of like that very American hardworking dream, middle class people. So there's such a frustration and anger that like lives within New Englanders because a lot of us have worked so hard to get to a particular place. So when we see other people experiencing that, it's hard not to get frustrated because I feel like industry started here. We had, Pete from Origin, a great company up in Maine, manufacturing, everything done here. But so many people have worked really hard. And Boston, especially in the last like 10 years, has created this. I mean, it's the wealth has always been there.
Yeah.
But especially with COVID, there's just been this like jack up of like insane wealth that's come through.
Yeah.
And it's made so many people frustrated because as we joked about when you said you first moved here 10 years ago, you were like, this is a rat infested apartment. You're telling me this is $5,000 a month?
Yeah.
And it's like even worse now. And then the Seaport created this, this, dichotomy of people who are just like, what happened to my city? Like, this was supposed to be a blue collar place where I can afford a double decker and I could retire my family. And now instead I got all these Wellesley people and
this asshole who teaches at SoulCycle comes in, like parking his Denali illegally, who's not even from here. Like, I get that.
But it's just like a New England thing where I feel like there's definitely going to be people who are like really annoying about it, but there's more like that. You make that face like, fucker, I wish that was me.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a love-hate thing that I think comes through New England, but that also really only exists in that Boston hub, which is like the center of the world here in New England. Cause you go to Western Mass, you come here to Rhode Island, we have got insane wealth here in Rhode Island. Yeah. It is criminally underrated because our economy is the worst. Our roads are the worst. Our income is the worst, but we have the highest cost for land in all the US. Like the average land cost is like over 300,000. Yeah. To live comfortably here as middle class, it's like 275,000. The average salary in Rhode Island is like 50 grand. Right. So that's just like the math ain't math in there. So it's like we definitely have that here too. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, the I wish that was me thing, that you were just saying, I feel like sometimes I'm like, you don't. Like, people don't. Like I think back to like the best. And I'm not Tom Brady. I just like I live very comfortably in the suburbs, which is like, I think some people are like, oh, that's the dream. And I'm like, the only thing I wanted in the suburbs was a yard for my golden retrievers. I have 2 of them. I was like, I want a fenced in yard. That's it. So I end up in Wellesley, but I'm like, the best time in life, the easiest time in life was when I didn't have, like, I wasn't, it's not that I'm like, but I'm surrounded by a little more of like this, like, oh, well, they had their lights put on their trees professionally. And I'm like, it's just a different world. And it's like, it's more complicated now. Like, it's more like, I'm just like, I got to shovel a driveway. Like a part of me does miss the rinky dink apartment that was like cheaper, life just becomes more complicated the older you get, but the more stuff you get and the more like the success you have, it's a little more like, I'm like, when I talk to people who are like, I have some friends whose parents have like a ton of money and they have like multiple houses, and I'm like, doesn't that stress your dad out? Like, I'd be thinking about like, did we lock the doors at the house in Palm Beach? I know there's people that manage it. I'm just like, I feel like I'm very simple. I'm a homebody. I did very well when I lived in just like a 1-bedroom apartment, and I could shut the door. There's one lock. There's one door. I'm up a couple floors. So if you wanted to rob me, you'd really have to have a reason to do it. Things get, I just think it's, like now, especially, it's like more. And it's like, for what? What's that's not the answer. Doesn't make you happy. And we all know that by, everyone's like, okay, cool. But like, I'm going to still try for more.
And I love your perspective on this in comparison to the character. It's a really cool dichotomy that you're sharing there. So,
he and I are different sometimes too.
And I can't even wrap my head around people who like go and get they're like, oh, we had our Christmas tree, like professional. I'm like, do you not have any pride? Like to be
I
like,
know.
like I did that. And also like no one really cares about your Christmas lights besides kids.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more joyful as a child than like having your parents wrap the Christmas tree with you.
Yeah.
If you're fortunate enough to experience that in your life, like when I sat there with my mom decorating the tree, like that's like some of the coolest memories.
I feel like the whole neighborhood is professionally done, because I think what happens is like one person does it. And this is like growing up in the town I grew up in. One person does something and it's like, oh, well, like Sally and Joe had their lights like I can't be seen in my front yard stringing up my old lights. Like I think that's what happens to people, and I think they're like, oh, I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it's like, but everyone has an Escalade. Like, well, I guess I need an Escalade. Yeah. Like, and I think I think we are dumb monkeys basically.
Yep.
And we have dumb monkey brains that are just like must be like other monkeys, and
we're the only generation that didn't continue to evolve.
Yes,
if you believe in the theory of evolution, we have fucked it up, and we are dead stopped right now.
We screwed it up big time. Yeah. So I think it can be very simple. It's like the group follow the mentality of like, well, I don't want to be different, because if I'm different, it's harder to like, explain to people. I have to be vulnerable and tell them I can't afford to have the Escalade. So I'll go in deeply into debt to get the Escalade. I'll do anything it takes to get. So I think that's like a dark cycle that people get caught up in, and not just, I think it happens in everything now, especially with social media. You don't have to be anybody. You can be just a regular old, and now for kids, we're going down a bad path with the conversation about it. It's going to go, it's bad. So.
No, but again, I think it's important to just like the perspective that you're sharing, because there's a lot that goes into your character and a lot that goes into the comedy. And I think that the most important message to take away from this is that you're putting genuine heart and thought behind your intentions. It's like, yes, the whole thing is to make you laugh, but there is some truth and story to it. And I think that makes the best art.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's why stereotypes are funny for a reason. Let's be real here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had Gary on a couple episodes ago, and he talked about how in comedy, just because you don't find it funny, that doesn't mean it was made for you.
Yeah.
So like, take a seat back and just enjoy it for what it's worth. Like if you're going to take offense to it, then
not your type of comedy. That's
it's
all.
it's either that or the stereotypes about you, because it's true.
Right, yeah. It's hurting.
Like, let's be real.
It's hitting you deep. Yeah. I think it's what whoever said like Brene Brown re-quoted it, but it was like Teddy Roosevelt or something said like, if it's not about the critic, it's I'm going to totally butcher this. It's like, it's not about the critic. It's about basically it's like, if you're not in the ring fighting with me,
right?
Like get out. Like, I don't want to hear your
about
critique.
The man in the arena.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a big, I felt that way about, like SoulCycle and Barry's too, because I teach at Barry's boot camp also. And they're big on like feedback from the clients. And I'm like, they're not on a candlelit podium facing the wrong direction with a microphone on their heads. I don't care what as long as I didn't offend somebody, like I think there's too much feedback in general, and everyone's like, we're very feedback heavy. Like Barry's is like that. And I'm the
worst.
I got an email from all of the feedback from my classes, and I clicked unsubscribe on the email. I'm like, I do not want to know what 54 people thought of me. Like imagine if every time you posted on Instagram, it was like, what did you think of Ian's last post? 0 to 10 stars and a description box. Don't worry.
I can tell you right now, this window would be open and I would be Supermaning out of it.
Yes. So it's like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. It's just like, what'd you think about it? And by the way, it's anonymous. He won't see that it's from you. Yeah. So when people I think we give people a little
like,
too
I
much.
was front center, third row in a black tank top.
My name's Kaylee. Yeah.
But how could you expect that to be successful? It's like, you're going to have someone in there who's like a former pro athlete, someone who hasn't exercised in 30 years. Their experience is going to be entirely different.
Yes.
One person's going to say that was too fast, too loud, and too much. One person's going to say that wasn't enough. It needs to be better. It's like,
and someone's going to be like, he's the best. He inspired me. And it's just confusing and too much. Again, monkey brain cannot handle. I do not want to know. You don't want to know what every single person has to say about everything you do.
I don't know what anybody really wants to say, to be honest with you.
I don't know.
My biggest problem.
No, it's just like, just leave me alone. Yeah.
So side eye.
That's facts. It's I like no feedback. Thank you.
Amazing. All right, let's get into our So New England segment here.
Yes.
I'm going to be curious to see what your answers are, because these are not biased. I grew up in this town, so this is my answer. So Have you been to all 6 states here in New England? Have you been Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Mass, Rhode Island, Connecticut? Have you been to all of them?
Yes, I have.
Do you have like a favorite? Like if you could stack them in order as to which ones you've enjoyed the most?
It would probably be it's created this way because of the limited time I've spent in some of these. So the bottom 3 are going to be bottom 3 because I haven't spent as much time there. But I'm going to say Maine, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. That's
So 4, 5, and 6 are just because of lack thereof.
Yeah. Like
you also went to school in Denver, so it's like
Yeah.
you've seen what mountains actually look like. So
yeah.
Oh,
New
that's
Hampshire
a
isn't
good
gonna do it
point.
for you the way it
Yep.
does for a lot of us.
I've said that a few times. Once you go out there and you see mountains, like I'm not to discredit the mountains out here, but it's vastly different.
Yeah.
Very different.
I always had a view of the mountains from my dorm room, which is something I never,
I'm jealous. That's
I
awesome.
never
That's
thought, I never
wild.
realized as an 18-year-old like that will never happen
Yeah.
for you again.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
What a view.
Now, since you've been here in the last 10 years, would you say that you have a favorite season that you enjoy the most about New England? I mean, you grew up in Chicago, so you had all the seasons too.
Yes.
So it's,
Yeah. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say spring because it's probably a common answer because it's the same in Chicago. Like even when there's still like dirty snow on the ground, if it's like warm enough to wear a t-shirt when you're taking the trash out or something, it's like that feeling of like you're like, oh, in the fall, and in the fall, I'm like, oh, winter is coming.
yeah.
And like, okay, and then we fall back and the sun sets at 2:51 p.m. Like now in the spring, you're like, oh, and you spring forward and like at the end of March and you're like, okay, the sun's staying out later. And even if it's like cold, you have this like new, it's like this rejuvenation. You're like, okay, cool. I can put the bean boots away. Maybe, probably not till the end of May. Like, but it's like a hopeful and it can be nice. It can be nice. Summer. Everyone loves summer.
Yeah.
I'm a sweater. So
I'm curious, what does like fall look like in Chicago in comparison to how we do it up here in New England? Do you guys this is going to sound stupid, but I'm going to go for it.
Yeah,
Do you guys have like a lot of leaf changing going on? Can you leaf peep in Chicago in that area? Do you have?
Yeah, there's
or like a heavy
definitely.
influence of like cider and,
I think
donuts and all that stuff.
I
Like
think
we
they
do.
try to do that a little bit more. It's not the same, but yes. And the leaves change a lot and are not. It's definitely nice. It's just not the same. But you do get like Wisconsin and Michigan. You do a day trip to like an apple orchard and do that whole thing.
Gotcha.
Like growing up, my Christmas card like a couple of years, like I was like 5 and 8. Our Christmas card was like at an apple orchard.
Gotcha.
So like that, and that wasn't like a forced thing or like a fake, they're real. So there's the fall is nice there. They do that. They got farms and things like that.
Wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Now, we've got a lot of good dishes here.
Yes.
Do you have some favorites, or is there like one dish that you're like, since you've been here, like this encompasses all of New England to me?
Yeah. I will say I did not do enough seafood in my life I was not a big seafood guy. The seafood here that's like what I think of.
Top tier.
Like definitely. I did like Florida seafood, very different. A Florida oyster is this big, both hands.
Yeah.
And so I had never had oysters. I'd never had clams, like fried clams. I'd never had a lobster roll, I don't think. I'd had lobster at I'm at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and it's a
PE
lobster.
guy showing up here.
Yeah. PE guy. He's in and out. But I would just say like in general, like the seafood here is like pretty unbeatable. And then I would say the first food that comes to mind is just a lobster roll. I just feel like
that's like the staple. So we'll go with it.
Anybody who comes from Chicago to visit, most of my friends are like, where are we going to get a lobster roll? And like, are we going to go to Luke's Lobster? And I'm like, no, we're not going to go to Luke's Lobster. We're going to go somewhere, you got it. I mean, there's so many different takes on it anywhere you go.
Right.
Like, so, and in all of the states. So that's, if I have one answer, it's lobster roll.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is there anything about New England that for you, as far as like the information you had prior to arrival, where you're like, wow, this is very overrated, I had high expectations, or just in general where you're like, this New England experience is pretty overrated? And then the reverse. I'd love to know what's underrated to you as well.
I I don't think that I realized that like coming from having lived in Denver for 4 years in college, I had always heard East, and no offense, but I'd heard from people out there, East Coast skiing is like horrible. It's bad. It's like icy. It's like horrible. It's just like, it's nothing compared to this. And I was like pleasantly surprised that really isn't the case.
No.
Depends on the weather.
Ski
Depends.
these,
And there are some really, really good mountains. Like I went to Sugarloaf and I was like, am I like in Vail? Like,
Yeah.
this is, like so that was like an underrated, like I had a totally different perception of what that was going to be. I was like, okay, yeah, but I'm not going to go ski in Vermont. And then, cause everyone says it's icy and bad skiing. And then I'm just like, I'm like, this is good.
Most of the mountains are already open up there. They've gotten
Yeah.
some heavy snowfall
Yeah.
in northern Maine and Vermont already.
Yeah.
New Hampshire as well. There's plenty of snow up there, but some of those mountains are already crushing it.
Yeah. So that's like a pleasantly surprised by kind of thing.
So you're saying that's underrated. The ski here is underrated.
That's underrated for someone like me, a simple Midwest boy who went to school in Denver. Underrated and talked about poorly in those places, I think. Sometimes by people who are like ski snobs, and it's just like, it's really, I prefer it sometimes. I'm not a great skier, but out there, if you're skiing in a bunch of powder, it's impossible for a newer guy. So I'm like, obviously I don't want to be skiing
and those are huge
on
mountains.
pavement,
It's like,
but
that's,
yeah,
it's
very
at
daunting.
least here, it's like, it's a semi quick run. So like if you're tired and you're like, but if you're scared and you're nervous and you're at like,
it's
6,000
3
feet,
hours
it
to
takes
get
like
down.
3 hours
Yeah.
to get down the mountain. You're like, that's an exhausting. You only get one run.
And your friends are lapping you and
Yeah.
flipping you off, and you're like, okay, thank you. Yeah. So that's underrated. Overrated. Overrated. I feel like, what's the thing that's not going to upset anybody?
No, that's upsetting. I like it.
Overrated. Maybe like I don't know. I feel like, so growing up in Chicago, you live on the lake. It's a big lake. You can go to the lake. That might also be kind of overrated. I think the ocean, being like, oh, you live on the ocean, is overrated because is that your answer?
I've said this quite a bit about our oceans.
Because it's like, I'm not like, if I live on the ocean in Miami, different probably. This is like, okay, first of all, we have a temperature problem. Okay. It's not, you cannot swim. You can maybe, okay, fine. We have a shark problem that nobody's talking about. Okay.
We talk about it. It's freezing, it's murky, and we have sharks.
And everyone's like, oh no, they're not. They are for sure super here, and they're huge.
Yeah.
And they will. And
Jaws was filmed in Cape Cod.
yes, and they will definitely, they'll eat you. So I just think they're nice. It's nice to look at, but it's like, it's just an overrated, like, it's like, okay, everyone's like, oh, you live on the ocean. I'm like, well, I don't really do anything with it. Like, I'm not going to go tubing.
It's cold.
Yeah.
I go to lakes, a lake here or there. Maine Lake's great, beautiful. You're not going to get eaten by a shark.
Yep.
And I don't know. There's something about it. It's too much. It's too daunting. It's like, it's not like you can like get a power boat on it easily. You're not going to go tubing on it, because if you fall off, you'll be eaten.
Right.
Or hit by a ferry coming from Hingham. So it's just like, there's too much bad associated with beautiful views from, Nautilus and Seaport. Wonderful. Great. Like, nice that we can zip over to Nantucket on the ferry, but I don't need to like, I'm not splashing around in it.
Yeah.
So
I'm with it. I
agree.
said that. I'm like a, diehard New Englander, but I've said, I genuinely believe, and I lived in Miami, as I mentioned to you.
Yes.
So like, I am a Florida beach guy through and through. Like, I'm not going to go deep. I'm not a treader. I'm not a swimmer.
No.
If I'm going to go in the ocean, I want to be able to see my feet in anything that's near me.
yes.
That and
Yep.
Florida. I mean, have you ever been to like St. Pete's Beach? You ever go to Tampa? Like that's like the nicest
It's
beach
clear.
ever. Yeah, it's one of the
I'm
most beautiful
interested-
beaches,
right
down
one
to
of
the
top
toeses.
beaches in the world.
Yeah,
I'm interested in shallow, clear,
Yes.
and I have also, where my mom has a place down in Florida, there's constantly sharks. So they also have that. Like,
Right.
And I've seen full on bull sharks, like 10 feet away from the shore. And friends come down there and they're like, there's no sharks. Let's go swim to the buoy. I'm like,
That buoy
You
is
don't
there
wanna
for a
go there.
reason.
yeah. That buoy is their home.
How about no?
Yeah. How about no, Scott? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm anti-shark.
I agree with
but I
that,
agree.
too.
Nice
a good
warm, dip your feet in and then get out. Yeah.
I think
I
it's
don't-
more of a visual experience than it is.
I think so. I was
going
gonna
to
say because I don't
Yes.
find it refreshing anymore. When I was a kid, it was more for fearlessness, just to be like, I'm going in the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like now, if I have to sit from my ankles deep, and then another 10 feet, and then another 10 feet, like it's too damn cold.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing all that. I hate the cold. He knows.
I
He
don't, I,
cold
don't, I
tubs.
don't mind the cold.
I hate cold.
That's the only thing I will say I do like about it is like if I'm going to go in the ocean, I do want to be refreshed, and
like
it
to be
is like a
shocked.
friggin' hot tub in Florida.
yeah, but see, then you got to walk out, and then you get all sandy, then you got to rinse the sand off. And see, it's too
I'm
much
I'm
work.
a pool guy.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a pool guy, lake guy, then the ocean.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
that particular order.
Yeah.
If
But
I was,
yeah, from
you know,
a view standpoint, excuse me,
Yeah.
I completely agree. It's lovely. Can't
Yeah.
beat it.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you have engulfed yourself in the New England way, if someone else was interested in moving here,
Yes.
and you could give them like a statement about New England, like something to kind of give an expectation about the people, the food, like whatever. It could be one word, paragraph. Like what would be your pitch?
I'm just imagining somebody from Chicago moving here, just
Love it.
because that's my experience. And I
Yeah.
would say the people have like maybe a harder exterior than they do at home, but they're like warm and gooey on the inside if you get there, if you can get there with them. They're nicer than you think they are. The drivers aren't any worse than they are where you're coming from. And what they say about being able to like travel to different places is like real. Like you can be on a ferry to Long Island in an hour and a half to New London. Like you can be up in Maine, eating at Scales in Portland in 2 hours. You can
Right.
be on a plane from Logan to London in 5.5 hours. Like that's
Can't beat it.
that's a huge thing also that I think is underrated that that I didn't really even think about. That extra 2 hours closer to the coast that you are
Huge.
makes a huge difference. It's basically like a
Cheaper and faster to get to Europe than it is to get to LA.
literally. Yeah. And it's like it's almost an easier flight. I mean, it
Yep.
is. So
Straight
that's
over the
what I'd
ocean.
say. Yeah.
Headwinds are much better.
Yeah, another thing about the ocean, I don't like thinking about that while I'm rocketing through the sky in a tube sealed up with too much melatonin.
Well, that's only if you're flying private.
right.
So-
of course,
yes.
of course, yes, on the jet. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay, one thing we always like to ask, and I'm interested to see if you bring Chicago, but we always like to add, if you could personally add a city, state, could be a country, could be an entire continent. Like if there was another part of the world that you could bring up to join us here in New England, includes the weather, the traffic, the people, all of it.
Yeah.
What would
Private
it be?
equity people too.
The private
PE
equity
the
people
PE
too.
people.
Yeah.
I would say it'd be hard to do because it would be two cities.
Yeah.
But if you could get Chicago, I would do, on Zillow when you can do a ring, you can draw.
Yeah.
I would get the right ring of Chicago, and then I would put it, the areas that are not having tremendous problems.
Yeah.
I would draw part of Chicago and put it here because Chicago has great, like, it has good character and good food, and it's similar to Boston in that way though.
Yeah.
But it has like diehard loyal like Chicago people who are just
Did I
like
just
intense.
detect a little Chicago
I
accent?
did that on purpose.
I-
Chicago.
Is there a Chicago character maybe? That
I
you
have
could
I
develop?
do have a Chicago character.
versus Boston guy.
That's a good idea.
Oh, that would
That's
be
a really
fun.
good idea. Except I can't do a Boston accent for the life of me.
Listen, none of us can. And
no,
this
That's
is
the best
can.
part.
Well,
That's the best part.
it's
It's really hard.
honestly, like I argue with people all the time, and I'm like, the people who are diehard, like we don't talk like that. I'm like, let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah, yeah.
There is a literacy going on here. You guys don't know how to proproperly enunciate. It's not an accent.
Yes.
It is poor education
yes.
in America and
Yes.
the early ages
Yeah.
of the coal mining and
Not
factory
your
days.
fault. Yeah.
I love the pride, but let's also not be offended if, well, Hollywood doesn't get it right. Hollywood still made millions of dollars
Yeah,
while
yeah.
you were in Dorchester pissed about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. What's her face did that in The Town.
Yeah.
What's her name? Not married to Ryan Reynolds.
Blake Lively.
Blake Lively, yes.
She had that.
I don't say her name ever since I'm on, what's his name? Baldini's side, Andrew Baldini's side. So I don't say her name.
Yeah. She who we
Drama.
shall not mention. Yeah. The Chicago thing is a lot easier for me because I grew up around it.
Right.
But that's a good point. Maybe a Chicago guy versus like a just a Boston PE
Chicago
guy.
private equity versus Boston private equity.
Yeah, yeah. It's a really good idea, actually.
Love that.
Same face filter.
Same face. Maybe you were brothers separated.
Yes,
Twins
yes.
that were separated.
Honestly,
This is a whole
By-
series.
by
This
your-
turned
by
into
your
the
pri-
most.
by your private equity dad,
Yes,
who was a
yes.
sperm donor to get through college.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Let's write a short. I
somebody's-
love this.
Somebody's written it. Somebody's writing it down for us. Wow. Okay. Perfect.
Amazing, Johnny. This has been so much fun, man.
Thank
It
you
was
for
so
having me.
so awesome to get to know you more and hear more about your story and how all of this social media fame has started for you. And I can't wait to see where you go from here. It's just going to be
Thank you.
up and up. Where can everyone who hasn't found your page yet get a hold of you?
I am at Johnny Hilbrant, JohnnyHilbrant, no D, at on TikTok and Instagram.
And if people want to, we can keep this in if you don't want to, but if people want to come and take a Barry's Bootcamp
Yes.
or SoulCycle class with you, where
Yes.
can they, how's that work?
Yes, Back Bay. I teach one SoulCycle class a week. It is 7 a.m. on Friday, and 2 Barry's classes Monday, 6:10 and 7:20. Back Bay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for making the trek down
Hell
to
yeah.
Little Roadie.
Thanks
we'll
for
have
having
to
me.
we'll have
This
to
is
get you down to
lovely.
Watch Hill and Westerly and Newport to do
Yes.
some stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
For some
You'll fit
content.
right in down there.
Yes.
love it.
Perfect.
All right, folks, that's going to conclude episode 70 of the So New England podcast. Please try and remember, folks,
Life's better in New England.
Red Sox